All right, Marcia suggested this trip. I didn't think it was going to really be that great of a trip. Ended up being a great trip, and we're looking at doing it again. Here we're going to go to Rainbow Springs in Dunnellon, Florida. I tell you, it's still early in the day, probably around 10:30 right here. The weather's great. Man, it's just great just going down the road and looking at all the scenery. Once we left Gainesville, most of our trip was Highway 41. I mean, we took 241 out of Gainesville, and then we got on 41, and we took that all the way from Archer all the way to Dunnellon. With YouTube, I can't put the music on, but right now my stereo is just pushing out the tunes, and I'm just enjoying every minute of this going down the highway. Alright, we made it to Dunnellon in the next scene, and Jill's going to tell you what's happening.
Hey, Mikey.
Where are we at, Jill?
We're in Dunnellon, the fair metropolis. We're going to Rainbow Springs.
Okay, so we went about 2 miles past Rainbow Springs. There was a KFC here, and everybody went in, and we got our picnic lunch to eat at the springs here. Now this road to the springs is pretty neat. It's a little back isolated road. I enjoyed it.
Hey Ed, you bring your Junior Ranger hat? Anything to say, Steve?
Everything we got is good. Want some chicken? Want some salad?
When we entered the park, I enjoyed this moment. On our Natchez Trace trip, I'm still working it, Ed had got the name as Junior Ranger, and Cliff was there. Well, when we pulled in here, Cliff went up to the Ranger and said something about calling Ed Junior Ranger. So when Karen went up, the Ranger ended up saying, who are you with? And he looked over towards Ed, and he goes like he'd known him all his life. He said, oh, Junior Ranger. Ed didn't know what to say. He looked kind of lost. Well, we went swimming for about an hour and a half there, and I mean, it was great. It helps if you're about 6'2", because then you can stand up anywhere and breathe. Otherwise, you're going to tread water, other than the 2 sets of rocks we found to stand on. But we had a blast there, and like I said before, we will be back. And here's that road leaving the park. I mean, this is just a short clip of the video. The road's probably about 2 miles long. We had a great time, and it was time to leave. One of the reasons I said it was time to leave, look at them clouds. That's to the west of us on the left. And man, it was pouring. We were going to stop and have a drink, but we decided we better not. And look here, on the right of us was another storm. So we just kept pushing, heading on home. This is all the rain we saw. It wasn't even raining right now. It's just where it rained ahead of us. Alright, we made it to Sandy's, and you remember my buddy Cliff, how he was messing with Ed? Well, he didn't stop messing. He ended up going inside before we got there and telling them, hey, when he orders the pork chops, go ahead and give him 2 extra, and he paid for them, right? Well, the whole time we did the Natchez Trace, I'm still working on it, we ended, I mentioned to him about the pork chops here at Sandy's, how you got 3 real big ones. So when I got my meal, I looked over at Ed right there, and Karen, I kept looking at them, looking at my plate, looking at them like, see? I didn't realize that there was another 2 pork chops there. So I couldn't eat the other 2. Marsha wouldn't let me eat the other 2 to the next day.
You guys can run, but you can't hide.
Well, this is the end of the trip. Me and Marsha headed home. I don't understand how, but we didn't get wet. But that last couple came in, Steve And Missy, man, they got soaked because they made a right when we made a left, and the right was wrong. Till next time, see you on the road.